Home to Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, and the great Amazon rainforest, Brazil is one of the most stunning and spectacular places in the world, brimming with wonder and magic. But in some of Brazil's darker corners, eerie oddities have been discovered lurking that'll make your stomach twist and your heart race. These are the 15 strangest things recently discovered in Brazil. Number 15. Mysterious tunnels. Brazil's wilderness holds plenty of weird secrets, but some go way deeper than others, literally. Around 2010, geologist Amilcar Adami was conducting surveys near the Bolivian border when he stumbled on something strange, a giant tunnel burrowed deep into the earth. After stepping inside, he realized this wasn't an isolated find. It was part of a sprawling underground network that stretched hundreds of feet in every direction, and there were thousands more. Adami eventually documented over 2,000 similar tunnel systems across Brazil. What's even weirder is that these aren't man-made. Ancient legends blamed enslaved workers or even mythical beasts, but the real clue was in the walls, claw marks. Deep, deliberate grooves that suggested the builders were massive animals. Most experts now believe they were carved by extinct megafauna, likely giant ground sloths or enormous armadillos. The scale is so wild you'd think it was fiction, but this is Brazil, where even the dirt has prehistoric secrets locked inside it. Number 14. 33-foot anaconda. In literally any other country, a 33-foot-long anaconda would instantly rank among the strangest things ever spotted. But that just goes to show how absurdly wild Brazil really is. Anyone with even basic snake knowledge knows these creatures are already massive, but 33 feet? Well, now that's house with scales territory. A team of workers was prepping a controlled explosion in the Altamira cave when one of them noticed something hulking in the shadows. After realizing they were face to face with something seriously dangerous, they backed off, then came closer. Eventually, they chained it to a crane, because sure, why not, and hoisted it up, exposing its unmistakable yellow belly, an anaconda. Animal rights groups criticized them for chaining it, but honestly, what else could they have done? Offer themselves as lunch? A 33-foot snake is terrifying enough, but knowing it's an anaconda? Way worse. These monsters can destroy you with minimal effort. Honestly, maybe every one of them deserves a personal crane. Number 13. Giant emerald stone. Not every day does something dug up on a farm end up under armed guard, but this wasn't your average rock. Buried deep in a gem mine, workers unearthed one of the largest emerald stones ever found, a towering 4.3-foot, 794-pound slab packed with around 180,000 carats of pure emerald crystal. That's not just rare, that's absurdly valuable. Estimated at over 238 million pounds, this thing isn't sitting in someone's living room. It's locked away in a high-security location, constantly moved and flanked by guards. The man who found it? He's anonymous, reportedly living in hiding to avoid threats, kidnapping, or worse. Owning this gem hasn't brought him peace. It's brought paranoia. While the world sees it as a gemstone jackpot, he sees it as a massive glowing target. And despite what the saying suggests, this time, the emerald wasn't greener. It was riskier. Honestly, who knew finding a rock could turn your life into a high-stakes thriller? Number 12. Titi monkey. Scientists exploring the Rondônia region came across something no one expected, a brand new species of Titi monkey. While early whispers of a subspecies had circulated as far back as 1914, those finds were dismissed due to similarities with existing Titi types. For decades, the monkey world remained relatively static until Mariluz Mesquita and her research team launched a study on deforestation's impact in Brazil. That's when they found it. A Titi monkey with a totally different fur pattern. Instead of the typical ashy black coat, this one had reddish-brown coloring, enough to set it apart genetically. The discovery sent ripples through the primate research community. Turns out Mother Nature's still got some curveballs, even in places people think they've already mapped out. This wasn't a mutation or fluke. It was a full-blown new species. Sorry to disappoint the immature minds out there, but this TT is strictly scientific. So, no mutants here. Number 11. Human-sized rodent. If you've got even the slightest fear of rodents, brace yourself for this one. Around 10 million years ago, the Brazilian Amazon was home to Neoepiblema acreensis, a giant relative of today's capybara. This beast reached about 5 feet in length and weighed nearly 180 pounds, making it one of the largest rodents ever to walk the planet. Yet the most unsettling detail wasn't its size, but its brain. Despite its massive body, its brain weighed only about 50 grams, roughly the size of a mandarin orange, and was 3 to 5 times smaller than scientists expected. Researchers believe this tiny brain worked because its main predators were ambush-style crocodilian giants, not fast-moving hunters. With little evolutionary pressure for quick thinking, the species could thrive while running on minimal brain power. It's a bizarre picture. A rodent the size of a small person, surviving with the mental capacity closer to a pocket calculator than a genius. Number 10. Unrecognizable virus. Long before the pandemic turned novel virus into dinner table talk, a team of Brazilian scientists found something way more confusing and unsettling. While researching microbial samples from Lake Pampulha, they encountered a virus so bizarre it didn't match anything in their database. And we're talking about a database containing over 8,500 known metagenomes. The Yara virus, as they eventually named it, shared less than 10% of its genes with any known virus. That left 90% of its structure completely alien. Imagine staring at a biological code and realizing you have no idea what you're even looking at. Theories popped up quickly. Maybe it was a mutated animal virus or something ancient that re-emerged. But scientists quickly clarified, there's no hard evidence supporting any of those ideas. The Yara virus is still a complete mystery. We're talking about a microbe that defies classification, defies comparison, and definitely doesn't care if humans understand it. Nature, once again, stays undefeated. Number 9. Fluorescent frogs. The human eye might be good, but without a UV light it misses an entire world, especially one filled with creatures like Brazil's glowing frogs. While studying pumpkin toadlets in the Atlantic forest, scientists stumbled on something that made zero sense. Under ultraviolet light, the frogs lit up with fluorescent markings along their backs and heads, completely invisible in daylight. Why? Nobody's sure. But many believe the glow is a built-in warning system, signaling toxicity to predators the same way bright colors do in other animals, like nature's version of a "do not touch" sign. These frogs weigh less than a gram and blend into their environment, which makes the glow even more bizarre. Scientists still don't understand how or why this trait evolved, but it's one more entry in Brazil's catalog of animal oddities. A tiny creature that glows in secret? It's both creepy and incredible. Just another reminder that nature still hides some unreal surprises. Number 8. Gruta do Lago Azul Natural Monument. The Gruta do Lago Azul Natural Monument is a standout gem in Brazil's rich collection of preserved landscapes. Found in Bonito, Mato Grosso do Sul, this protected site has been under federal conservation since 1978. The cave's massive limestone entrance leads to a lake measuring about 160 feet in length. From September to February, sunlight spills in at the perfect angle, striking the water's surface and giving it an unreal glowing blue hue, hence its name, Blue Lake Cave. But the beauty doesn't stop at the water. The cave has yielded fossils of ancient megafauna like saber-toothed tigers, giant armadillos, and massive ground sloths that roamed over 12,000 years ago. Nearby sits the Gruta de Nossa Senhora Aparecida, a cave without water, but filled with stunning speleothems that resemble winged human forms, often mistaken for angels. While these caves once drew tourists in droves, they're now closed to protect both visitors and the delicate ecosystems within. Their mystery, however, remains wide open. Number 7. Amazon tribe member. While most people would never dream of trekking aimlessly through the Amazon rainforest, a few documentarians were bold or crazy enough to try. What they didn't expect to see was a half-naked man swinging an axe through dense jungle. For a while, no one had any answers. Then history filled in the blanks. Throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s, land developers and illegal miners carried out a horrific string of massacres against native Amazonian tribes. Entire groups were wiped out. It's now believed this man is the final surviving member of one such tribe, accidentally spotted in 1996. Since then, he's been monitored by a dedicated team that protects uncontacted indigenous tribes. He's healthy, self-sufficient, and stays as far from outsiders as possible. Known as the man of the hole, he's become a living symbol of isolation. In a weird twist, he's basically the original social distancing expert. Some tribes were centuries ahead of the rest of us. Number 6. Ancient termite kingdom. The deeper we study our world, the stranger it gets. Turns out humans aren't the only species to build sprawling empires. In Brazil, researchers stumbled upon a colossal network of termite mounds, around 200 million of them, spanning an area roughly the size of Great Britain. And this wasn't some recent insect activity. Carbon dating puts the entire system at over 4,000 years old. That means some of these termites were older than most ancient civilizations. Covering more than 90,000 square miles, the massive structures are so large they're visible on satellite imagery. From above, it's a marvel. But on the ground, most of the mounds blend seamlessly into the forest, nearly invisible unless you're looking for them. No one knows exactly how long it took these termites to construct the network, but it's one of the largest biological engineering feats ever recorded. Number 5. Glass frogs. The animal kingdom offers just about every color and shape imaginable, and sometimes none at all. Case in point, glass frogs. These tiny amphibians don't just blend in, they practically vanish. Weighing less than a gram, their skin is so translucent that you can see straight through to their internal organs. Found deep in a Brazilian national park, these creatures hadn't been officially spotted in over 18 years. Their reappearance wasn't just rare, it was one of those "did that really just happen?" moments for conservationists. Even in person, it's tough to tell where the frog ends and its insides begin. It's gross, fascinating, and honestly, kind of beautiful. They're nature's invisible wonders, reminding us just how strange evolution can get. The fact they managed to stay out of sight for nearly 2 decades only adds to the mystery. They're back now, but here's hoping they stay rare. No one really wants to see a living X-ray hopping around. Number 4. Two-headed bat. Back in 2001, researchers at the Universidade Federal Rural do Rio de Janeiro made a nightmare-grade discovery while studying conjoined bat embryos, a two-headed bat. Found deceased, the specimen displayed an incredibly rare genetic anomaly, caused when identical twins failed to fully split during early embryonic development. This was only the 3rd recorded case of its kind. The bat had 2 distinct heads and necks, with a shared trunk and an enlarged upper thorax. Each head had its own heart, making this a uniquely complex form of conjoined twins. The bat belonged to the Archaeological genus, tropical fruit bats native to Central and South America and parts of the Caribbean. It was found with the placenta still attached, suggesting it died at birth. Scientists say such deformities are unsurvivable in wild conditions. Equal parts fascinating and disturbing, the discovery has contributed to broader research on vertebrate development, and remains one of the most bizarre findings ever documented in bat biology. Number 3. Plant that flowers. One day after fire. In Brazil's rainforest, a plant species called cerrado has evolved a fiery survival strategy that defies logic. While fire is usually a death sentence for plant life, this one treats it like a trigger. Within just 24 hours after a wildfire tears through its ecosystem, the cerrado begins to bloom, proof that some life forms don't just survive chaos, they thrive in it. Natural forest fires, while catastrophic in the short term, actually help restore the land by enriching the soil. But this species doesn't wait for the soil to heal. It blooms immediately after the blaze. Scientists are captivated by its resilience and are studying the plant closely to understand how it functions at the genetic and cellular level. It remains the only known plant on Earth to react to fire in this way, making it an evolutionary outlier. It doesn't just grow back, it blooms brighter, faster, and harder than anything else around it. Number 2. Electric eel. An electric eel might not sound that outlandish on paper until you realize Brazil's got one that basically runs on overdrive. In the depths of the Amazon basin, scientists came across a new species named Electrophorus voltae, and it's no ordinary shocker. This eel can discharge up to 860 volts. That's more than enough to knock a grown adult flat. It's nearly 300 volts stronger than a typical electric eel, making it the most powerful of its kind. Touching it would feel like grabbing a live wire, only worse. But despite that lethal potential, the eel doesn't use its power recklessly. Instead, it delivers controlled shocks to stun prey. It's precise. Still, one can only imagine what humans would do with that kind of power. A creature that could take out an animal with a twitch? Respect. The Amazon didn't just give us an eel, it gave us the ultimate underwater battery. Number 1. Phallic snake. Nope, not that snake, but not far off either. A group of engineers in Brazil spotted a weird, skin-slick creature hiding in the Amazon waters that looked suspiciously, well, familiar. What they found wasn't a snake at all, but a caecilian, a rare limbless amphibian that, to the untrained eye, resembled either an oversized earthworm or something from a very awkward biology class. 6 specimens were found, but not much else is known about this oddly shaped species. It has no lungs and breathes entirely through its skin. Thankfully for humans, it's not dangerous. The phallic creature prefers smaller prey like fish, worms, and invertebrates. Found throughout parts of the Amazon, they vary wildly in length, but generally keep to themselves. Still, the resemblance is impossible to ignore. Scientists are naturally intrigued, even if no one's volunteering to hold one for long. One more thing we do know: its eyesight is terrible. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.